Hi everyone, here's a little recap on how to prepare your tube feeding. So first make sure that the package is intact and that you have the right tube feed bag, and then open the package on the perforated edge. You're going to see a little label that you can later on apply on the bag itself. Unravel the tubing, make sure that it isn't kinked, remove any attachments, and then you're going to go ahead and hang the bag onto the IV pole, making sure that the line is again unkinked. And then you're going to find that at the end of the line there's another label, but this one is for the tubing. You want to go ahead and make sure that you roll the roller clamp shut. That's one of the first things that you want to do to make sure that the formula doesn't just run through the tube when you pour it into the bag. We're going to prepare the formula, make sure that we shake it really well. Sometimes it gets really sticky on the bottom. Check the expire date. Usually we just keep these at room temperature. Check that you have the right solution or the right formula. We can open up the packaging, and you always want to follow the doctor's order just to make sure that we know how much we're supposed to be pouring in and how fast or how slow the feeding is supposed to go through. So here, let's just say that it's running at 25 mils per hour for the next 4 hours. So that means we need to pour in 100, but we need to account for the extra that we need to prime the tubing. So here I'm pouring about 150 mils, give or take. Doesn't have to be completely exact. And then we want to make sure that we leave the cap open so that the air allows the formula to get through or to go through the tubing. We hang it back on the IV pole, and we are now going to prime the line. So one of the first things that we want to do when we prime the line is we want to invert the chamber and also remove the cap at the end of the tubing just to make sure that the formula actually does flow through. So here we are inverting the chamber, and we want to fill it with about 1/3 to 1/2 full of the formula. So we will open the clamp, allow the fluid to run through slowly. This solution is a little bit thicker, and that's why it's going through the tube a lot slower than usual, but you can keep on adjusting your clamp as you need. And remember that if the chamber is completely filled with a solution, it's not going to run through and your pump is going to continue beeping. All right, here we are checking to see if we have about 1/3. We don't quite have about 1/3, so we're going to go ahead and reopen that clamp and allow more solution or allow more formula to go through the chamber. And we're going to check one more time just to see if we have enough, and it looks like we might just have enough. So we're going to continue priming just to push all of that air out of the tubing. And we want to make sure that we see a couple of drops just to ensure that it is actually completely primed. And then we're going to shut that roller clamp again and put the cap on the end of the tubing, hang it to the side, and we're going to feed it through the machine. Pull on that stretchy part just so it goes around that triangular portion and then feed it through like so. And then we want to make sure that we close the cap at this point because we no longer need the air to help us because now we have the machine helping us feed the formula through. So now we're going to don some clean gloves and flush the line with 60 cc's of tap water. And again, the doctor will let you know how much flush is to be instilled into the tube and what kind of flush. Sometimes it's sterile water, sometimes it's saline, a lot of times it's tap water, and you just want to make sure that it's lukewarm tap water. So you always want to make sure that you're wearing gloves and maybe kink the line so that you don't get sprayed with gastric contents every time it opens up. Okay, so now that the line is, or the tube feed is patent, we've already flushed it. That's also one way that the patient receives his or her fluid intake. We can go ahead and connect the tube and set up the machine. So first we turn on the machine and plug in the infusion rate, which we're using 25 mils according to the order. And then we need to plug in how much in total should be administered into the patient, which lets the machine know when to stop and alerts us to 100 in this example. And we want it to start counting at 0 or from 0 rather than 1, 2, 3, or 4. So we just want to press total reset so that it actually starts counting from 0 all the way to 100 cc's. And don't forget to open up your roller clamp. I forgot to take a picture of it, but press the run and hold button. And that's it.